How's everybody doing? Today I'm making the famous Delmonico steak in my New York City apartment. Of course, my first stop was one of the oldest steakhouses in Manhattan, downtown's own Delmonico's. I had to get the classic Delmonico cut, which is an all-American ribeye from the Brandt family farm in California, seasoned with Delmonico's own peppercorn blend from Le Bois, a famous spice store in Hell's Kitchen, finished with some sea salt, melted butter, beef tallow, and finally, crispy fried onions. But I can't forget about the spread of sides and sauces: pomme puree, blue cheese, beef jus. Everything was absolutely perfect. Now it's time to recreate the best steak in Manhattan in my Chinatown apartment. Challenge accepted. The first step in having a great steak dinner at home is getting a high quality cut from a butcher, not something pre-packaged on the shelf next to the cartons of eggs. In the city, I've been going to Wegmans lately because they have a large selection of fresh cuts, from US Angus to Japanese A5 Wagyu. In this case, I was looking for thick cut Angus ribeye, similar to the classic Delmonico cut I enjoyed a few days before. As soon as I got home, I salted the steak on a wire rack and I let it sit in the fridge for a few hours to fully flavor and tenderize the cut. This is called a salt brine, and between this and resting the steak, if you're not taking those steps, you're really missing out. Let me know if you want to see a video on just my advice for cooking steaks. I would love to show you. My next concern was creating my own peppercorn blend that would live up perfectly to the charred flavor of the Delmonico ribeye. So I made my way to 28th and Lexington, where Calustian's Mid-Eastern Market has every peppercorn known to man. I swear, I get lost in this store for hours, constantly getting sidetracked, finding new inspiration around every corner, but this time I was focused on one particular corner where I found every peppercorn imaginable. For my blend, I chose pink, green, Szechuan, Ecuadorian black peppercorn, smoked black peppercorn, and fermented white peppercorn, which adds up to a 6 peppercorn blend for the perfect steak experience. Now that the peppercorn situation has been handled, it's time to start the holy grail of steak sauces, the beef jus. I found the best way to make beef jus for my apartment is using store-bought culinary stock and treating it exactly how you would any other stock by reducing it in a hot pan with a mirepoix. At Delmonico's, the beef jus is even more specifically shallot based, so I went a little heavy with the shallot and even the carrot in my sofrito for both the sharpness from the shallot and sweetness of the carrot. As the beef jus was reducing, I was able to get started on the pomme puree, because there's really nothing better with a steak dinner other than buttery mashed potatoes. If you know, you know. Pomme puree at home can be really easy if you have the right tools and ingredients. I always try to find Yukon Gold potatoes. They have a creamy, buttery texture, works really well for pomme puree at home. I peel them, rough dice, and drop them in boiling water for like 20 to 30 minutes while I work on adding another layer of flavor through the cream that will be added. In this case, I gently simmered some milk with rosemary, thyme, and sage as the potatoes boiled. This will infuse those flavors as they're added into the final product. Then I run the cooked potatoes through a ricer, which is an absolute essential tool for pomme puree at home. As I mix the rice potatoes, I'm able to add the butter and infuse milk until I get the consistency I'm looking for, and then the pomme puree is done. The last prep to finish proved to be a task for the patient, which I am not. The crispy fried onions that rest atop the infamous Delmonico's ribeye certainly take some time and patience to pull off, which is why mine are a little bit darker than the real deal, but delicious nonetheless, and an excellent garnish for a nicely seared ribeye. After heating up some beef tallow in my pan and patting the steak dry, I dropped it in to be met with the perfect sound. Not a burning sear, but the most perfect rumble of peppercorns reacting to the smoking hot beef tallow. I gave the cut a good press to ensure thorough contact throughout the pan and flipped after 3 minutes. Dropped the heat, added some butter, and basted until reaching an internal temp of 110 Fahrenheit. Another crucial step for cooking restaurant quality steaks at home is letting the cut rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes to truly finish the cooking process. And you can't lose all those precious steak juices, which I'll save for later as a finishing touch, along with the leftover tallow and butter from the pan. As the steak was resting, I was able to saute some mushrooms with red wine and beef stock, finish with some butter and fiend herb to brighten up an otherwise rich and earthy side dish. After I plated the sides and sauces, I was able to slice the steak, plate, finish with the melted beef tallow butter combo, and even the crispy fried onions, just like Delmonico's. Come all this way. Ooh, get up close on that. That's exactly what I was looking for. Look at that. Some of the fried onion. Beef jus.
It's like I'm there right now.